Hey guys, it's Christy. Welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, I'm going to be talking all about NaNoWriMo, and I'm really excited to finally tell you guys what I'm working on. So if you're new to my channel and you missed them, I spent the month of October sharing with everyone my planning for Preptober, all of my Preptober related activities for this new novel that I'm going to be writing in November. And I'm assuming that everybody who's watching this video already knows what NaNoWriMo is, but if you don't, the bare bones of it is that everyone sets out to write 50,000 words in 30 days, which is definitely a challenge for most people. And this is actually my very first NaNoWriMo that I'm participating in. I've done Camp NaNoWriMo. I did it this year actually for the first time. Had a great experience, and I am so excited to be doing the full complete NaNoWriMo to see if I am capable of writing a novel in 30 days, one, and also two, because I am just so excited to be working on this new project. But update to everybody that has been following me, one of my goals for October, for Preptober, was to finish the current revisions on my novel that I'm working on right now, and I did just finish them, and I'm so excited. So I'm going to be sending it to beta readers very soon, and once I get that feedback, going through and doing another draft just to implement that. I'm going to be doing a lot of as I query, since I am pursuing traditional publication. I'm going to be sharing all of my whole process querying, because it's something I've done in the past, and I've learned a lot of things in different areas when it comes to querying. So I'm going to be sharing all of that on my channel, and I'm really excited about it. So those videos will come most likely after NaNoWriMo, because in November I am focusing on this new novel. But yeah, definitely stay tuned for those. Okay, so talking about the story that I'm going to be working on for November. I don't know why, it's always a little bit weird whenever I start talking about something that I'm writing. So this idea that I've had for my NaNoWriMo novel is something that I've been thinking about for a few years, actually. I remember because it was the apartment I lived at before I moved to my house. I think that that's kind of something that I tend to do, is I let things kind of marinate and grow, because things will start out as a concept, and I don't jump into them right away, which is strange, because I am impulsive in other ways, but just I don't jump into story ideas. I kind of want to make sure that it's something that I want to invest that much time in. But if it's something that I've been thinking about for long enough, then I know that it's worth writing. At least for me, that's just how I operate. And this is something that has been a long time coming. And I am a little bit different than some other writers that are able to maybe do different projects simultaneously, multiple projects at the same time. I can't do that, or at least I haven't figured out a way to do it yet. And that's why I thought NaNoWriMo would be a great way for me to dedicate, in a month, I can knock out a rough draft of a brand new story. And I just think having it within the confines of NaNoWriMo would definitely push me to finish it. Whereas if I wasn't doing it for NaNoWriMo, I think that I would have a harder time setting aside this other project that I'm working on mentally, That's just me. I don't know if other people are like that too, but that's just me and how my brain works. But this NaNoWriMo novel is another women's fiction. My current novel is a women's fiction, and I think that this is the genre that just really suits me and my writing at this point in my writing career, because I'm invested in this genre. I've done a lot of reading and research, and I've just really spent a lot of time in this genre, and I love it, I really do. And I have a lot of ideas for other projects outside of, of this next one. I have other ideas. So one thing that people might think is funny is I still haven't figured out what tense I'm gonna be writing in, but we'll see. I'm still trying to kind of gain my confidence a little bit when it comes to my preferred point of view and writing tense. I mean, people have varying opinions on this, and there's no right or wrong answer. And even in genres. You can look at a specific genre and there's still not really an answer. I kind of tried to approach it that way, looking at women's fiction and seeing which one was more prevalent. You still have a lot of first person, third person, past, present. There's still a lot of variety even between the genres. So I think it just comes down to personal preference and what you feel comfortable writing. I thought about using this opportunity to try something new and do maybe a third person present, or if I was feeling really gutsy, a third person past, but I don't know. I don't know if that's gonna make it harder for me, and like, you know, if I kind of get stuck because it doesn't necessarily feel natural or fluid, if that's gonna kind of inhibit me. So it might not be, I go back and forth. It might not be the best opportunity to try something new in that way. I really want all of my women's fiction stories to have plots with relatable human struggles that are set in fantastical places and situations. So my last story, or the story that I'm finishing right now, is set across Europe. So my next story is going to be placed in Hollywood. So I am such a film buff and a movie nerd. One of my favorite trips was going to Los Angeles and going to the WB studio and doing the tour there. I was geeking out the entire time. So I know that this story is going to be really, really fun as I place my characters in all of these crazy, bizarre situations. I'll give a little tease here. So basically my story is the love child between Notting Hill, The Nanny Diaries, and Jane Eyre. With, you know, a few differences, obviously some things of my own imagination sprinkled in. And finally, I wanted to talk about my NaNoWriMo Survival Kit. So I recently put together all of my survival kit items into a list format, which is my favorite kind. So I'll post the link to my survival kit blog post down below if you're interested in that. Some of the items were things that I've talked about before in other videos, but some were brand new for me, things that I'm trying out for the first time for NaNoWriMo. One of them is writeordie.com. If you're not familiar, it's the website, it's basically an app that I believe you have to pay for. It may have been free at one point in time, but I think now you have to pay. So the idea is that you have to keep writing and that you can't stop. And that's why it's called Write or Die, because the die part is the consequence. And so it turns red as if you pause. At any point you stop writing, it'll turn red, or I think it makes like sound effects or it's all kinds of stuff. And it makes you keep writing. And that's the whole point of it. So I thought that could be really helpful, you know, for days where I'm kind of struggling. And then another thing that I wanted to try for the first time is write-ins and writing sprints. So I know that this is really, really popular in the AuthorTube community, especially for NaNoWriMo. And also I just think it's good practice, you know, to be able to kind of write on the fly like that. And that's what people say is the real benefit of those exercises, is to learn how to, you know, write on the fly. And if you have, let's say if you have 15 minutes in, you know, during your lunch break or something like that, to write as much as you can in those 15 minutes. One book that I've been reading that I told you all about in my last update is called No Plot, No Problem by Chris Beatty, and I've really been enjoying it. So the book is written specifically for, you know, people doing NaNoWriMo for the first time. And so it's got tips and strategies, techniques that you can use. He has some really interesting and clever hacks to inflate your word count, which I thought was really funny, but helpful. It's not really the same as some of the other books. I mean, it's not at all the same as a lot of the other books about, you know, novel structure. He really doesn't talk about structure. He talks about strategies, you know, mental and practical, to write, you know, 50,000 words in 30 days. Because you might think it's just obvious that, oh, I'm just going to sit down and just write. but you know, there's a lot to it, and especially for people that have done this before, you know. So yeah, if you haven't checked out that book, I recommend it. And something that is not in my blog post and that will not be making an appearance on my survival kit list is my inner editor, because this month really is about drafting, getting words out, and finishing a story. And I know probably a lot of people can relate to this, but you know, I definitely have a tendency to go back and say, oh, I don't like that word, that came out wrong, I don't like that sentence, you know, whatever. That is one of the pieces of advice in Chris Beatty's book, No Plot, No Problem, is, yeah, word count is word count, and really for NaNoWriMo, that's what's important. Because one thing that I've learned through the other projects, the other novels that I've written in the past and revised, I've just learned how little of the rough draft actually makes it to the third or fourth or fifth draft, you know. And when I do the read through and I start making decisions about where I want the story to go, you know, things are going to change for the better, and it's great. And so I just have learned not to put too much pressure on the rough draft and the words that I'm writing, because it really is just about getting the story from my brain onto the page. That way, you know, I can improve it in the next draft. So one thing I'm not really sure about is how I'm going to document the rest of this month, if I'm going to do, you know, vlog style videos, or if I'm going to do chatty ones like this and kind of recaps. So we'll kind of see, you know. I want to spend enough time writing so that I'm successful with NaNoWriMo, but definitely keep you guys updated. But good luck to everyone who's participating in NaNoWriMo. If you want to be friends and connect on the website, leave your information down below. I still have to figure out how to do it. I haven't signed up on the website just yet. I probably will by the time the video goes live. But that's all for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye.